彼はジョーダンやメッシの領域にいる。同じ時代に彼を見られるのは奇跡だ。現地メディアが絶賛する大谷翔平の偉大さ。さらに102マイルを叩き出す佐々木朗までの電撃復活がドジャースの野望を加速させる。これほどの黄金世代の共鳴を目撃したことがあるか。見逃さないために今すぐ登録していいねボタンをプッシュしよう。
5597 LA fan. Can I give you some shocking breaking news?
Yes.
Can I break the Dodgers world in half? Can I tell you something that maybe you didn't know as the ultimate Dodgers expert? Shohei Ohtani is really good at the ball sport baseball, at the throw catch. I know you know these stats, but thank you, Bursch, Ryan Bursch. Boom, highest OPS in the National League, lowest earned run average if he qualified in the National League at .74, highest WAR in Major League Baseball at +6. We don't have to belabor this because we talk him every day unless you want to. I don't personally want to lose track of what we're witnessing and what we're watching, because every single time he does things, I try to remind myself it is not normal, and it feels like Tiger Woods in the height of his powers. It feels like I'm old enough for this, like Jordan at the height of his powers. It feels like Messi, who we'll talk about later, at the height of his powers. There aren't many athletes in my lifetime who I have watched and it's been this level of greatness, and I have taken some of those previous athletes for granted.
Certainly. And I think with Shohei over the weekend, you got to saw him at the plate put together some really good games where that first inning, I thought we were on cycle watch, and we always joke.
You texted me. Yeah.
I was like, hey, man, they're already up big. Just sit them for the rest of the day. And I was like, oh, my God, Bill's going to text me back, I hate you or something like that, because, of course, you guys know how I feel about trying to preserve Shohei. But I will say this. I think that over the weekend, you saw a hitter that continues to lock in, and a guy that has seen the ball so well, he's staying square at the plate. And over the week, once again, another breaking news, right? He was the Dodgers' best hitter. He had 12 hits in 25 at-bats, had 2 doubles, a triple, a home run, had a 13-12 OPS for the week, had 5 multi-hit games in his 6 games played. And like I was saying on the Friday show, everyone's talking about the Cy Young. And yes, believe it or not, Bill, contrary to what you think, I do want to win the Cy Young, but I think it'd be awesome if he could make a run at a batting title. And I think that over the weekend, you saw the ability to do that, right? It's not just triples, doubles, and home runs. It's not just extra base hits. It's not just slug. It's the ability to put his bat on the ball and make good things happen. I don't know if you saw, too, there was a play where he was doing a push-up on third base, like he's having fun with it. And you mentioned, too, the tennis aspect of it. It almost feels like this is Nadal in his peak French Open years where he won like 8 straight French Opens. That's the National League MVP, right? It's who's battling for second place, because Shohei's going to run away with the MVP once again. It's going to be his 5th, his unanimous, and this weekend you saw on display, he's a .302 hitter with a .74 ERA, 11 home runs and a .939 OPS, and it's only going to go up because we are just getting going with June Tani.
I don't know. It's D-Mac and Ryder, 97.1 The Fan, the voice of LA sports. I don't know if your story about Harry is genuine or if you're kind of, ribbing me a little bit about my takes. I can't tell. Harry is really, or if you're kind of, ribbing me a little bit about my takes. I can't tell. Harry is really a fan?
Yes, 100%. I told Andrew right when he showed up.
I'm going to bring an argument. I hope Harry likes it. It's not directed at you, but it might be because you're on the wrong side of this particular argument from my perspective. Why in the hell, when the Dodgers scored 9 runs in the first inning of Saturday's game, was Yamamoto allowed to pitch 8 innings, and I think he had 93 or 94 pitches, when in that situation they would have taken Shohei out in the 3rd inning and then gently wrapped him in wool and carried him to a velvet chair? What's the double standard? Why does Dave Roberts not want this guy to win a Cy Young Award?
I think
what is happening with 8 innings, dude?
I think that you would have been pleasantly surprised if Shohei Ohtani was pitching, that they would have let him go out there and comfortably get that 6 or 7 innings. We'll never know, right? But to answer your question on Yamamoto, he went 8 innings. He gave up 1 run on those 2 hits, had 4 strikeouts. And the thing is, when you are pitching in a 6-man rotation and you're a creature of habit and a creature of routine, Yoshinobu Yamamoto is going to go out there and he's going to get his work in. So they felt comfortable about it. There's no need to pull him. But
I understand that he's more efficient. He's not walking as many guys as Shohei, so he's not throwing as many pitches. And by the way, this may be Harry. Thank you for watching D-Mac and Ryder. Maybe it's irrational. It pissed me off, dude.
That's fair.
It made me mad.
Here's the thing, though. So Shohei's going to get no days rest, right? No matter what, pitching or hitting, because he hits on days where he pitches.
Yeah.
In between,
and
right?
unicorns can fly. Like, should we make them walk?
Well,
that's why they got. Can unicorns fly? I don't know if they can.
The plan is the plan. Unicorns are up in the air. They can do whatever they want.
They fly?
Yeah, they can fly. I believe.
Because why would the horn make you like? Right? Isn't a unicorn just because it has the?
It's rainbow colors.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not. I've seen some of the wings too. I'm basing these off my daughter's plush animals.
I saw your computer today. Yeah. Was that a unicorn computer you brought?
That was a butterfly iPad holder that my daughter left in my backpack. Yeah.
I saw you pull it out, and I almost did a. You okay, man?
Hey, that thing works, man. That thing
right,
works. Used to be mine, by the way. It was nice when it used to be mine. That's my favorite thing too. And I have like a 90-inch Sodium TV. It's literally 90 plus inches. 90.
I have one too.
Just OLED.
Mine's custom made.
Custom made?
Well,
Wow.
because I had it for a work thing.
Are we having a TV off here?
Yeah, we are. We
Shout
just
out to
become
Kendrick.
best TV friends.
We just become best TV friends. But I just
Wait, you just
laughed.
did my joke back to me?
No, I just repeated it. It was an echo.
Do you want credit? Do you want cheers for that?
I said it because I love the way it sounded. And I love Step Brothers. Okay, I'm sorry.
Wow.
Jeez.
Harry, this is what I'm dealing with, Harry.
But I was telling you, I find it hilarious where we were watching her show on that, and I'm watching the Dodger game on my iPhone. Like, just kind of the compromises that you have to make. But look, here's the thing. Yoshinobu Yamamoto is going to try to make a run for the Cy Young too. And I think that people are not talking about this enough, Bill, and I truly, genuinely mean this. Yes, we've talked about how this is going to be the most competitive Cy Young year in the history of baseball.
That's why we should sit Ohtani the whole year.
He's going to get his run. Don't you worry.
Save for October.
But don't you kind of hear me on that? Like I told you. I told you that before the season, I went up to Yamamoto and I told his interpreter, hey, he wants to win the Cy Young this year. And Yamamoto said something to his interpreter, and he said something to me and says, no, he wants to win the next 4, right? Yamamoto, before Shohei Ohtani, had his aspirations and his visions of winning a Cy Young. It was Yoshinobu Yamamoto last year that told us, the media, that he, in fact, wanted to be the first Japanese pitcher to win the Cy Young. So look, he's at a 2.68 ERA. We're still a little over a third of the way through the season. There's no reason why, if Yamamoto goes on a long run, that he can compete for a Cy Young. Remember last year against Baltimore, he was 1 out away from becoming the first starting pitcher since Blake Snell a couple years ago to throw a no-hitter. I know you love those moments, Bill. I know they mean a lot for you in a Cy Young race.
I want them to be benched immediately.
What have I done to you?
Can I go highfalutin on
What did
you?
you do to my boy? You massacred my boy.
That's a great. Oh my God, that's really good. What would you do if I told the audience live? I won't do it without your permission. That I've heard you imitate many well-known people across LA media. Would you ever do your permission? That I've heard you imitate many well-known people across LA media. Would you ever do a segment where I just drop their names? It's not always nice, and you imitate. I just want to plant a seed as a possible future segment. A possible future segment.
We got to get more deals. Yeah,
we don't have more deals. Can I do 30 seconds highfalutin?
Yes.
On my theory on maybe why the Dodgers could win 5 of 6 World Series.
Yes.
It's a little over the top. I know what's in your library, so I know that you're above me on the. Okay. Throughout history, there are these sort of weird moments where incredible levels of talent have clustered. Literature, The Greatest Generation in Paris with Hemingway and Fitzgerald and Ezra Pound and all these other people. I mean, to get sports on it, ESPN when they first launched in the 80s, sort of 90s, the Impressionistic movement, the Founding Fathers, all right, whatever. There's lots of examples where you've got people where all of these geniuses come out of the same place. And the question is, how in the world do so many incredible painters, authors, writers, broadcasters, whatever, sort of have this opportunity to be together? Why are they together? I'm a huge believer that massive levels of ambition can spur people to compete as allies against each other and rise up. And what you just said about Yoshi made me think about this Dodgers team. Shohei wants to be the best pitcher on the face of the planet. Yoshi wants to be the best pitcher on the face of the planet. Roki Sasaki wants to be the best pitcher on the face of the planet. You sort of go down the line. I think part of the Dodgers' greatness is they've collected so many ambitious people that they're driving each other to levels that they otherwise wouldn't have gone. And at 5, when we get into this, is Roki an ace conversation, I went through every pitcher in baseball and how Roki's last 4 starts compared to those other pitchers. There's only 6 or 7 or 8 guys who are better over that stretch. Several of them are Dodgers pitchers. And it's just the Yoshi thing about wanting to win 4 Cy Young Awards. I think that drive and ambition, I think it impacts everybody and not just him.
I love it. I love it. It's the
Founding
first
fathers
I love that.
went there.
It's the first time I've heard Ezra Pound since I was an English major at UCLA. I wanted to barf a little bit.
This morning.
I wanted to, guys, that was torture. Was it the Canto, something like that? Never.
I didn't read him. I just know that he was there.
Yeah, man, that's a deep. Hey, I love that for sure. I love that. But I think it's a fantastic point because when Yamamoto's interpreter said it to me, it gave me goosebumps because it made me say that, hey, think about it. This already what you're talking about played a part last year, right? Last year, it's Shohei Ohtani going to the World Series. Another big moment for him. Who wins the World Series MVP? It was none other than Yoshinobu Yamamoto. So I think that there's a part of that as well where, hey, think about how crazy that is. Yamamoto said, I'm not afraid to, quote, live in the shadow of Shohei. And he signs here, and he actually gets a World Series MVP before he does. Yamamoto is 8th in the National League in WAR. If he has a couple really, really good months, I'm telling you, he could climb up in that Cy Young race. So wouldn't that be interesting if Yamamoto ends up getting the Cy Young before Shohei Ohtani? As great as Shohei has looked, there's a lot of baseball left, and Yamamoto isn't as far behind as a lot of people may think. And I don't think any of those things are on the table with Emmett Sheehan.
D, Mac, and Ryder, 97.1 The Fan, the new 97.1 The Fan, the voice of LA Sports. Do you like being quoted to yourself? Because I have another quote I want to give, like another insight that you've given us that I want to sort of bring back to this River Ryan conversation. You have made the point as one of I would say the most connected Dodgers people out there, that you've talked to sources of the Dodgers, and they don't view AAA at the same level as maybe the average fan. That it's the jump, they believe, and you've walked us through this here on DMAC and Ryder, between AAA and the majors, the gulf is really wide. And it's some of the reason that we've talked about why some guys they don't want down at the AAA level. Why does that not apply in reverse? What is the reasoning if they don't think AAA is the challenge it should be, and River Ryan is either a commodity for a trade or an asset, a weapon for the near future in the playoffs? Why, can you give us a sense, DMAC, of why the Dodgers have not followed the logic you've walked us through and brought him up to sharpen his skills at a much higher level?
So that's the question that I ask myself every night, but the answer to that is this. The Dodgers view River Ryan as a pitcher that physically probably has figured it out, right? Probably is ready to go past the rehab process. He threw 94 pitches in his last start, and if you're throwing 100 at the minor league level, you're probably throwing 102 at the big league level with adrenaline. But to answer your question, they feel like he needs to build up more physically to withstand the rigors of a big league season and avoid injury, because this is a guy that has not pitched a ton. He only made 4 starts his original go-around. He's logged just 100 pitches in a season just once, and that was in 2023. He hit 40 in the third innings in 2024 before having Tommy John surgery and sitting out the 2025 season. But to answer your question, the way the Dodgers do this, and we saw this with Walker Buehler a couple years ago when he was coming back from injury, if they're going to not pitch the innings, if they're going to rest and load manage and basically prevent the starts, they're going to do it on the front end and not the back end. So the way they see it is, okay, he's not going to pitch now, so we can save those innings for the second half of the season and potentially in October. I think that's not the way to go about it in this specific situation, because guess what? I think that's not the way to go about it in this specific situation, because guess what? What did we see over the weekend? We're going to talk a lot about it today. Roki Sasaki.
Oh, my God.
Right?
So good, dude.
Last time I checked, River Ryan's down in AAA. They didn't make Roki Sasaki do that, so why are you making it happen with River Ryan?
855-97 LA fan, if you want to give your perspective on what should happen with River Ryan, what should happen with Emmett Sheehan, what you think Roki's weekend was like. And we have a lot of Roki conversations that are going to be needed into the show over the next 3 hours plus, 3.5 hours. We'll get into whether or not the way that he's pitching, you can move Roki back into the bullpen in the postseason if that becomes necessary. And we'll get into whether or not Roki Sasaki is an ace, a full-blown ace after his last 4 outings, including that gem all the way back on Friday that seems like a million years ago, where he went 7 innings pitched, no earned runs, 10 Ks. And DMAC here on DMAC and Ryder are going to require, suggest, demand some apologies from some of the doubters and some of the haters who are out there. We'll do that particular Roki conversation at 5, but you're right. It's probably worth giving Roki a little bit, some flowers right now. Friday seems like a million years
really
ago.
does, yeah.
But man, it is so, because when Yoshi does it, he had a great outing on Saturday. He went, what was it, eight innings and gave up, I think, a single earned run. Again, that feels like 3 weeks ago. Roki has gone from a guy who 5 or 6 weeks ago, many people some Dodgers experts, a lot of fans were talking about why isn't he in the minors? Why are they giving him so much leash? He's not ready. He hasn't figured it out. They're going to break his confidence, to an absolute wizard. I mean, that's 4 consecutive remarkable performances for Roki Sasaki.
Yeah, absolutely, Bill. And I know you're happy about this because you've been a Roki Sasaki day when I get to give you a lot of credit and love for that. But a couple things that stood out to me. You're absolutely right. Now we got a nice sample. 4 starts, a 1.48 ERA in those last 4 starts. You're seeing him have a 4-pitch mix. So he's gone from a 2-pitch pitcher to not just a 3-pitch pitcher, a 4-pitch pitcher with a fastball, with a forkball, with a tighter splitter, and the use of that slider. And the big picture takeaway, and we're going to get into the apologies because I'm going to call out some people a little later
by name
on the show. Maybe some groups, because a lot of people, D-Mac, you said that Roki was our Paul Skeens. He's a bust. D-Mac, you said it was Roki of the year. I've heard it for over a year now, but a big picture take I wanted to throw at you is if we are getting this version of Roki Sasaki, which looks like a new and improved version of the 2022-2023 Roki Sasaki that set the international game on fire, that set himself up to be the #1 prospect in all of baseball, where people were calling him the LeBron James, by people I mean me, of baseball.
Wait, you just quoted yourself?
I did.
I liked it.
And because of the hype, because of the can't miss, because of the fact he was throwing 102 with a nasty forkball, if the Dodgers get this version of Roki Sasaki, outside of Tarek Skubal, that's the best pitcher that they could possibly get at the trade deadline. And I think that's saying something.
D-Mac and Ryder 97.1, the fan, the voice of LA Sports. Thanks for hanging. Thanks for chilling with us. And thanks to so many people who have watched.
ここまで見てくれたあなた、本当にありがとう。この動画が少しでも面白かったら、コメントで意見を聞かせてください。そして高評価、シェア、チャンネル登録も忘れずに。次の動画で、また一緒に野球の熱狂を味わいましょう。